responsible gambling.
Here are your hosts, Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Welcome to On the Money, live from the ESPN Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, Columbus, right here on The Fan. I am Dave Biddle. I am joined by Scotty Vegas. We have producer Bodie Wells and engineer Dan Volpe along with us. We'll be with you for the next hour here on The Fan, and then we're having a watch party right here at the casino from 8 to 10. Probably later than that, Scotty Vegas, and where people can win free prizes. Tell the good people about that and how you doing this evening, my friend.
I am great, Dave. This is one of my favorite days of the year, of course. And here's the deal. Come on out because we have a props contest. We are handing out everybody here at the casino in the ESPN Bet Sportsbook a little prop sheet. And these aren't your normal, just regular draft props. These are fun draft props. Like, who is Cam Ward going to hug first when he is announced as the number one pick? Is it going to be mom? Is it going to be dad? Is it going to be his agent, maybe his brother or sister?
It better be mom.
So it better be mom. You're absolutely right.
Hug all of them to hug mom first.
But the great thing is we got 10 different props that people are going to fill out. And somebody is going to walk away with passes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. All right, so we're doing it up here at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook Hollywood Casino. You still have time to get out here. The party has already started, but the contest really gets going at 8 o'clock. And you and I spent the last half hour at the kiosks here at Hollywood Casino Columbus. But let's now bring in our favorites, one of our favorite people here at the casino, Justin, who is a sports book manager here. And Justin, the first thing you told me was that somebody just placed a $17,500 prop bet on the NFL draft. First off, good to see you. Second of all, tell us what this bet was.
$17,500. He put it on over 2.5 quarterbacks getting drafted in the first round.
Oh.
So we know Cam Ward. We're locking that one in. Everyone thinks Shador. We can probably lock that one in. But who's that third one? Are we Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe?
Ooh.
What's interesting, I told Scotty, we did a live promotion for this before the show, live on Twitter, and I told Scotty, he's like, what's your favorite bet? I said, over 2.5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. You didn't even know that was me to place that bet. It was not me. Mine was a little bit less than $17,500, just a tad.
Just a little bit less.
Just a little bit.
Here's the deal. That actually moved the line here at the casino because when that bet was placed, it was minus 152, right, Justin?
152, yep.
Now I walk over to that kiosk that's about 3 feet from me, and now it's minus 200. So that $17,500 bet moved the lines.
Thanks whoever did that, because I got it locked in at minus 200. Thank you whoever did that.
That's a huge
No thank you at all. By the way, guys, is Jackson Dart not the perfect name for a quarterback?
Yeah,
Jackson
it's got to be number 3.
Okay,
Awesome.
Justin, what are some of the other bets that people are making so far? And you got about an hour to get your bets in, right? But what are some of the other popular bets that people are making here at the casino?
I think people are finding good value on Travion. They think if Travion could be that Buckeye to leak into the first round, maybe be the third one. He's at plus 165, I think, over there on the kiosk.
Guess what? That's moving, too. Yeah. I was just at this kiosk, Justin. It's now minus 125.
Wow.
That should be plus to me. I'll be surprised. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see him going in the first round. I'll be surprised if he does.
Well, where's Travion land?
I think second round would be my guess.
But where?
I don't know. As far as the team, I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, listen, I get it, though, because a lot of people are comparing him to Gibbs. And that was a lot of people, myself included, questioning the Lions. I thought that was a panic pick at first. I thought they wanted Bijan Robinson. And then they panicked and took Gibbs. Turns out they didn't panic at all. That was a great pick, just 2 great backs.
Right.
So a lot of people are like, yeah, Travion can be that. And he can. I don't know if he's quite as good as Gibbs. I'd worry about his durability a little bit. Whereas Quinshawn, you don't have to worry about his durability. Both those guys, you really can't go wrong. I think both those guys will be second-round picks.
And we've been seeing the running back picks moving up higher round, into the earlier rounds, especially since the NFL defenses have been moving to that too high shell, man under. They stop the dink and dunk, but then the running game becomes a little more prevalent. We've seen a lot more yardage.
Well, and Justin, by the way, speaking of that, you can bet on the prop bets of how many running backs will go in the first round. The over-under on that number is 2.5. The over is plus 125. The under minus 180. So it's still leaning towards the under 2.5 running backs taken. What else? Any other Buckeye props out there, or any other props that you're seeing that's going here at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook?
Props on the, oh gosh. You put me on the spot.
Because you can't bet on stuff like, because I was hoping to do this, like, will the Buckeyes tie the record at 15? Will they break it at 16? You can't bet on stuff like that, which I think a lot of Buckeye fans would like to do. You can't bet. I'd love to bet on Will Howard will be a second-day pick, meaning rounds 2 or 3. Obviously, you know that, because I think most people that I've been reading lately, guys I like Dane Brugler, have him as a third-day pick. I would love to bet, especially if you give me like plus money, someone's going to take Will Howard on the second day.
Yeah,
but we can't bet on that, at least not legally here in
some
Ohio.
expanded selections in the second and third day would be great.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go over kind of that top 8, right, as far as the betting odds. So we know that Cam Ward, based on the odds, Cam Ward's going 1 and Hunter's going 2, based on the odds. 3 minus 1,000, Abdul Carter. So that seems like a lock. 4 right now, based on the odds, is Will Campbell at minus 670. And so this draft kind of gets a little more interesting once we get to pick 5, right? Because the favorite at 5 is Ashton Genty, but the odds on him at 5 are minus 230. And then you're getting to pick 6, 7, 8, and those are a little bit more up for grabs.
Yeah, the Abdul Carter one is the one that really gets me at minus 1,000. Do we see that kind of value in somebody like him at 3 or 4? You know, 3 or 4, we had the Bosa brothers, you had Chase Young, you had an Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, you had generational talents there. Is Abdul Carter one of those guys you can and to be worthy of a 3rd or 4th pick overall in the NFL draft? I mean, the Giants are talking about taking him. You're going to pair him with Kayvon Thibodeau. That's be a solid duo, but yeah, I just don't know if the value's there for a guy like him.
One thing we can all agree on, Big Ten back-to-back champs, right? We're going to do it because Justin, we love Justin. Justin's a good guy. As I say to my guys who are Michigan, I got a couple of good friends who are Michigan fans, and I always say, listen, they're good guys except for that one thing. Justin falls in that category. But seriously, so Big Ten, we can bet on this. Over-under 9.5 Big Ten players going tonight in the first round. Michigan's going to get 4, it looks like, if Kenneth Grant goes. It looks like they have 3 locks. I think Kenneth Grant's going to go. There's a lot of smoke.
Will
He's
Johnson
now.
is kind of sneaking down there a little bit.
That's true. I think if 3 Ohio State guys go, that makes it a lock. Because we know Abdul Carter's a lock. We know Tyler Warren's a lock from Penn State. And so you get 4 Michigan guys, a couple of Penn State guys. You get 3. Who am I leaving out? At least 3. If we get Donovan Jackson.
Donovan Jackson, by the way, is even money right now. Travion Henderson, and he's minus 125.
Who am I leaving out from the Big Ten, though? I'm leaving out somebody from another school.
I'm not certain, but I don't know.
Tyler. Yeah, I said Tyler Warren. Yeah.
I don't know how we're not getting more buzz around Donovan Jackson. I mean, you're a guy that switched positions, makes himself an All-American. It was an integral part in that running scheme, and he should be up there. I mean, you're talking a left tackle. There's huge value there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Justin, thank you so much. I can't believe that we already have a $17,500 bet on the board here. Wow. And, of course, a reminder again, that is $17,500, that it will be over 2.5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. The actual juice on that, originally minus 150, but because that bet was placed, it is now up to minus 200. And then our friend here, Dave Biddle, places it at minus 200. Unless you were the $17,500 better, Dave.
Maybe I was both.
Maybe
I was the latter. I was not the whale. I was more of the minnow.
Love it.
Justin, great stuff, my man.
Yes,
appreciate
thank you so much. And a reminder, we are out here all evening here at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook Hollywood Casino Columbus, giving away Pro Football Hall of Fame passes. We've got so many fun little different contests that we're going to be doing, including, of course, you do the prop bets, right? Who is Cam Ward going to hug first? You got another prop bet, Dave. I like this one. Will Deion Sanders be wearing sunglasses tonight at the draft?
Yes.
That's another little prop that we have on our sheet.
I love this. We have 10 prop bets. You can come out here. You can win 3 prizes. I mean, have fun. Come out here. I mean, pretty good crowd out here, but still plenty of room. Come out to Hollywood Casino, the beautiful ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Win free prizes. You get to meet Justin. You get to meet Scotty Vegas. You get to meet Dan Volpe. Ryan Baker.
So here's what I'm thinking, Dave, because the NFL draft is something that I remember, gosh, when I was in first or second grade, really falling in love with it, right? I remember my older brother had it on the TV, and I'm like, what the heck is this? You know, you're just sitting here all day, all afternoon, watching these picks happen, and then guess what? I fell in love with it. The intrigue, all the fun things. And I still remember that afternoon, I was a Minnesota Vikings fan growing up, and I wanted Randy Moss to go to the Vikings so bad. And he was dropping down the draft board, and my heart was pounding. Like, it was pounding. I'm like, oh, my gosh, team after team after team is passing on Randy Moss. There's a chance that my Vikings could get him. And I still remember exactly where I was. We were driving to the Dick's on Sawmill Road, and my heart is pounding, and I'm listening to the Fan back in the day, and they announce that the Minnesota Vikings take Randy Moss, and I just
like a
went
21st
crazy.
Pick or something. Like, that was insane.
Yeah, I think it was like pick 21, 22,
stuff that might even be legal in the state of Ohio now. That was why he slipped so much.
But it's one of those moments where you sit there and you're like hoping and hoping and hoping, and that heart is pounding. I'm curious, Dave, is there a moment you've had watching the draft where you were absolutely like heart pounding, couldn't wait to find out what your Bengals were doing? What's a story that you have?
I've got a great one for you, and we'll hit that next on the money.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's gonna audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow. That is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place, and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite Fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom.
See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
An isolated shower or thunder shower possible on this Thursday. Otherwise, partly sunny, warm, and a bit more humid. Highs around 80. Overnight, falling back down to around 60. Mainly cloudy skies and light winds. A couple of showers possible early on Friday, but a better chance of scattered showers and a few storms Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Highs in the mid-70s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Scotty Vegas has his own cot in the casino. You're listening to On the Money.
Presented by ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN. Wanna play?
That is true. I do have my own cot here at the casino, and I might be using it tonight as we have our NFL draft party. Thank you for joining us for the show, 7 to 8. And then we've got a watch party for the NFL draft. We got a props contest that we're doing where we're giving away a pair of tickets to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. How awesome is that? We got so many fans here already. I see Steelers jerseys. I see Bengals jerseys. I even see some like Michigan shirts. I hate seeing that. But we've got a ton of fans out here. West Virginia represented here. The great thing about the NFL draft is it is absolutely something that all fans can get into. College, pro, every team is involved, all that good stuff. And I talked last segment a little bit about the heart-pounding moment it can be when your team is on the clock and there's someone you really want them to select. For me, years and years ago, I was a Minnesota Vikings fan growing up, and I wanted so bad for Randy Moss to fall to the Vikings. And I'm watching pick 15 and 16 and 17, and it keeps falling, and I'm hoping, and that heart is pounding. And I remember exactly where I was on Sawmill Road when it was announced that Randy Moss was going to the Vikings. And I think we all, as sports fans, have that moment where there was something in the NFL draft that really captivated your interest. And I'm curious, Dave, what's the story for you? Is it a Bengals story? Is it a Buckeye story? Is it both? What was the moment that comes back to you in your mind with the NFL draft?
Both and another. So it's funny you're talking about like when you're driving and something happening. So 2004 NFL draft. This is way back in the day when it was just 2 days. So first day was rounds 1 and 3 on Saturday, and you had 4 and 7 on Sunday. So I was covering the Ohio State spring game in 2004 on that Saturday. The Bengals traded back in the first round. They could have just got Steven Jackson if they wanted a running back. They didn't. The Rams ended up getting Steven Jackson. So the Bengals traded back. They needed a corner. So at this point, the spring game's over. I've written my story. I'm driving down Neal Avenue, going, getting ready to get on like King Avenue to get on 670, right? And I'm listening to the NFL draft on the radio. And I knew the Bengals needed a corner. I couldn't believe Chris Gamble had lasted that long. And they said with the 26th pick in the 2004 NFL draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Chris. I'm like, yes! Perry, running back, Michigan. And I about literally drove my car off the road. First of all, I mean, Chris Perry had a really good year that year, but, like, they didn't even need a running back. They had Rudy Johnson, and I thought Chris Perry was more of a second-round pick, and I knew they needed a corner. So guess who had a better career in the NFL, Chris Gamble or Chris Perry? Mm-hmm. By the way, you know what the Bengals did the next 2 years in the draft, first round? Corner. Leon Hall. from Michigan, and Jonathan Joseph. So they needed a corner. They didn't get one. They got Chris Perry. I about drove my car off the road. So that's not a fun story, but that's a I don't know. If you hate me, that's a good story.
Yeah, and that was actually before we could bet on the NFL draft, right? Back in those days, it was all about your fandom. Now it's more about, like, okay, let's see what we can do as far as picking these top 10 and what kind of value we can find in the draft. Now, there's a lot of different storylines with this NFL draft that might make other people's hearts pound. Browns fans, obviously, humongous draft, and it's been a while since it's been a very interesting draft for the Browns, but we think we know what's going to happen with them at pick number 2. I don't think there's a ton of intrigue on that, but I think the intrigue for me, there's a couple different storylines. Number one is the Buckeyes. Where are the Buckeyes going to end up going? You and I have kind of talked about, like, Will Howard. What's the best scenario for him? I say it's maybe getting drafted to the Rams, getting a year under Matt Stafford, getting eased in a little bit. And I think that's
especially with McVay.
Yeah, and that's a perfect scenario for Will Howard. You want the Buckeyes to be drafted into the perfect situation. But the other thing is thinking about how many Buckeyes are going to be in the first round. Is it going to be 2? Is it going to be 3? Can the Buckeyes find a way to get 4 guys in the first round? And then day 2 is when all the projections have a ton of the Buckeyes going, right? So day 2, which is round 2 and 3, we're going to see a lot of Buckeyes. You even mentioned that you think day 2 is going to be a Buckeye infomercial at the NFL draft.
I really do, and Donovan Jackson might get taken tonight. Everybody's projecting Josh Simmons. There's some smoke he could slip because some teams are concerned about his medicals. Josh Simmons is all it takes is one. He'll probably go tonight. So if you're setting the over/under of Buckeyes, it's probably 2.5. Because Emeka seems like he's a lock. And listen, we've talked about Emeka Egbuka. Like, I don't know if he's going to be a superstar in the NFL, but he seems like the safest pick, one of the safest picks at the very least in this draft. Because what do I mean by that? If he doesn't have a catastrophic injury, I think Emeka Egbuka at the very least is going to be a really good NFL receiver for the next 10 years. Might be better than that. He's not going to be worse than that. He's almost bust-proof. Almost. The only way he would bust is an injury. That guy stays healthy. So he's a lock for the first round. I think Josh Simmons is going to go. Donovan Jackson is that wild card. And I guess Travion Henderson as well. I'd set the over-under at 2.5. I'd probably take the under. And like you said, Scotty, I think tomorrow, I know tomorrow is going to be like an infomercial for Ohio State. There's going to be a lot of Buckeyes taken in the second and third round. Another thing you mentioned, I'm fascinated really with where Will Howard's going to go because some guys that I really trust, like Dane Brugler from The Athletic and Chad Reuter from NFL.com, think that Will is going to be an early third-day pick, 4th round, 5th round. I think he's going to go – I'm convinced he's going to go on the second day. Weak quarterback draft. Listen, I know he has his faults. That's why I'm not saying he's going to be a first-round pick or an early second-round pick. But sometime on the second day, second round, third round – I'd be shocked if Will Howard doesn't go on the second day. I wish we could bet on that here at Hollywood Casino.
Yeah, so, and again, one of the storylines, Ohio State, is how many guys exactly will be drafted. Because since the NFL draft was shortened to 7 rounds, that was actually in 1994, only one school has ever had 15 players drafted in the same year. That was Georgia in 2022. Ohio State has a great chance to tie that record.
And before that, who held the record for 18 years? Ohio State in 2004. Yep. Really the crux of that 2002 national championship team, because a lot of those guys came back in 2003. They had it with 14. I thought that might last for... I guess it did last a long time. I thought that might last forever. Georgia, as you mentioned, broke it. Everybody who's done a 7-round mock draft has all 15 guys from Ohio State that went to the combine getting drafted. Jordan Hancock, some of him going in the 7th round. That'd be a pretty good steal in the 7th round. The question then becomes, Scotty, will G. Scott Jr. and or Josh Fryer get drafted?
Those are your bubble boys, right? Those are the guys that you're hoping one of those guys gets drafted and you break the record at 16. But let's talk about some of the guys that we haven't mentioned yet, because there's a whole list of them, right? There's 15 of them. We've talked about Simmons and Emeka and Jackson and Travion, those potential first-round guys. We even mentioned Will Howard already, too. But some of the guys that I want to talk about are Jack Sawyer. He's a guy that I think you, as a Bengals fan, you absolutely would love a dude like Jack Sawyer in round 2 or 3.
3rd round, a lot of people have him going in the 3rd round. In fact, pretty much every mock draft that I've seen lately from people I trust, they all have Jack Sawyer going in the 3rd round. And there was a guy from Ohio State, the Bengals drafted in the 3rd round like 8 or 9 years ago, Sam Hubbard, who just retired, how perfect would it be to bring in Jack Sawyer as a third-round pick?
Absolutely.
And hopefully they can get Trey Hendrickson at least to come back. But, like, I'm hoping the Bengals do something like D-tackle or offensive guard, and then whatever they don't get the other one in the second round, then defensive end in the third. Jack Sawyer would be perfect for the Bengals in the third round.
Yeah, and by the way, there's a NFL mock draft database that kind of lists all these guys. It takes all of the mock drafts, and there's hundreds of these out there, and it kind of adds them all together and averages them out. Here's kind of where the guys that we haven't talked about yet are projected. So Jack Sawyer is kind of ranked as the 61 ranked prospect. You've got Will Howard, 101, Denzel Burke, 112, Lathan Ransom is a guy we haven't talked about yet, 115. Ty Hamilton, 134. Seth McLaughlin is another guy who's going to be drafted. He's at 147. Jordan Hancock. And how about this? Cody Simon, too. Like, I love bringing up these guys that are going to be 5th, 6th, 7th round guys because we've seen some of those guys pan out as far as Buckeyes in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed by Jordan Hancock. Listen, I completely understand that slot corners are not as valuable as outside corners, so we're not talking about Jordan Hancock. Why is he not a second round or third round projection? But, like, I'm seeing a lot of 6th round or 7th round for Jordan Hancock, right? All right, does the film look good? Yes. Is he a small nickel? Like, I'll use another Bengals example. Like, one of the best nickel corners in the NFL last few years, he's not going to be a Bengal anymore, but it was Mike Hilton, about 5'9", 178. Jordan Hancock, 6'1", 195, right? But it'd be one thing to have that size, but you're soft, right? No, he's not soft. Well, he doesn't run well. He's the fastest one at the pro day for Ohio State at 4.42. Jumped out of the gym at 41.5 inches. I don't understand why Jordan Hancock is a 6th or 7th round projection. I hope the Bengals get him that late if they don't have a 7th round pick. I would love to get him in the 6th round. But, yeah, Jordan Hancock, Cody Simon, those are guys that are going to be third-day steals if they do last that long.
You know what I also love, Dave? I love the fact that this ESPN Bet Sportsbook is filling up, and it's full of NFL jerseys, right? We've got Bengals jerseys. We got a few Browns jerseys back there.
We've got kickers being represented.
We got a kicker represented.
Yeah, we got Joe Burrows in the house.
We got Buckeye shirts. We got Michigan shirts. We got West Virginia shirts. We're seeing everyone out here, and we love it. We're doing all kinds of contests. We're giving away Pro Football Hall of Fame passes in our NFL Draft contest. Still time to get out here. ESPN Bet Sportsbook, Hollywood Casino, Columbus. We're going to take a quick 2-minute timeout, and then we're going to talk more Buckeyes. Buckeyes in the draft. That's next on The Money.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin.
Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you.
Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is proud to be the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence Award for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin.
Or online at crowncarsdublin.com.
Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Mix and match 5 or more items for just 99 cents each with your card. Choose Campbell's Soup, Kroger brand pasta, Northsides, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Dave Biddle was caught trying to bet on office ping pong matchups. You're listening to On the Money.
Presented by ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN. What a play.
Those are some tough bets to make. Common Man and Timmy are going at it on the ping pong table. Go either way. All right. Buckeyes in the draft. Not just tonight, but this entire weekend, really. Tonight, Friday, and Saturday. And we're going to take a look at who Scotty and I would draft. We're not just going to take Buckeyes that are going to be drafted in this draft. We're going to include Buckeyes that are currently on the team. So we're projecting it forward. So if you're taking a draft right now, you can have any Buckeye you want going forward. Doesn't matter what they did in the past. So J.J. Smith might be your first pick. So something like that. You can take a current Buckeye. You can take a Buckeye that's in the NFL. And we're going to do a snake draft. Scotty and I. And you guys are going to determine later who has the best team.
Yes.
Scotty's the underdog.
What are we putting on the line? We got to put a vote on this team.
All right. Whoever loses picks up the tab at Holy Grail when we go down to the Reds game.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. That's a lot of money.
And we got to determine the number one pick. And the way we determine the number one pick is we flip something.
We flip a 100?
We are flipping
a Benji?
As you can now see on YouTube.
Flipping a Benjamin.
We got a Benjamin out here. Nice crisp one. That's going in the kiosk very soon.
Oh, and, there you go.
But
make a little money.
While it's in my hands, I will flip it.
All right.
You call Benjamin or, what do you want to call that? The other side.
Capitol Hill.
Benjamin or Capitol Hill. Here we go.
Scotty just learned.
Call it.
Benjamin.
It's Capitol Hill.
Oh, man. All right, snake draft.
All right.
All right, Scotty has the first pick.
I'm going to take a fella named Jeremiah Smith. Thank you very much. That's going to be my franchise starter. So, of course, I'm going to go a freshman, Jeremiah Smith. Now he's a sophomore, but I assume that would have been your number one pick as well.
You assume wrong because here are the rules of the draft. So we have to each get a quarterback, no more than 2. We have to get a total of 10 players. 3 running backs, no more than 4. That'll be tough. 4 wide receivers, no more than 5. 1 tight end, no more than 2. So you get all the minimums, and you have to have 1 wild card. There's a lot of wide receivers that are going to be good to take. I don't know about quarterback, so I'm going to take C.J. Stroud, number 1 on my board. I get 1 more pick, and I will take. Which one of these stud wide receivers do I want? Give me Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep. He was on my list for next if you weren't going to take him. There is a wide receiver that I love that I think I'm going to wait on in this draft. How many are we drafting? We're drafting
10.
8 or 10. Okay, 10 guys.
This was your idea. You should know that.
It was my idea, but you've changed all the darn rules to this
I didn't change any rule. I just gave us. This is like you came up with NIL, but I put in guardrails. Like I didn't come up with NIL. I just said this is how we're doing the format of the 10 players. You're just like 10 players. All right, 1 or 2 quarterbacks, 3 or 4 running backs, 4 or 5 wide receivers, and 1 or 2 tight ends. Go.
Okay. Oh wait, so I can't pick Nick Bosa?
You can't pick Nick Bosa
because Nick Bosa was going to be my next pick. And again,
this is like a fantasy football draft.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking defensive ends in fantasy football.
Changing the rules on me here.
Jeff Okuda. No.
You know what? If this is a fantasy football draft, I love Terry McLaurin.
There you go.
Had a Pro Bowl season last year. Absolutely love Terry, so I will go Scary Terry at 2. And then number 3, which, by the way, on my rankings, I had Caleb Downs. Of course, now I didn't realize we're doing fantasy, but we are. So I am going to go with my 3rd pick, Garrett Wilson.
There you go. I like that. Garrett Wilson. All right. I got one of my receivers in Marvin Harrison. I am going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba and Chris Olave. Up to you.
Olave. So I have to take a quarterback. So
basically, you're taking Justin Fields or you're taking Big Willie style.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is off the board.
We're talking about the future here.
Yes.
So let's say which career will be better over the next 5 years. I gotta project still Justin Fields over Will Howard.
I like it.
I told you last segment that I want Will Howard to go to the Rams and get a perfect situation for him going forward. But in this draft, I've got to take Justin Fields.
Have you noticed what you're doing with your draft here, man? You're just doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Now I feel like
that's very nice of you.
I was very convinced I was just going to crush you with
you
this.
You were concerned.
Now it's like I might be picking up that tab at Holy Grail.
Okay. We are again projecting forward. So over the next 5-10 years.
Yes.
And I believe that this guy, who's going to be drafted potentially tonight.
Ooh, going running back on me, aren't you?
I am. I'm going to go Travion Henderson.
Travion Henderson.
Yeah. And there were a few running backs I was thinking about, but I will go Travion.
If you need a screen pass late in the first half, somebody can take it the distance, Travion can do that. If you need a long rushing touchdown in really any game, Travion can do that for you.
Great pass blocker.
Great pass, exactly.
That's what I'm thinking. He's going to give me a little extra time to throw the ball with Justin Fields.
I like it. I need a running back. I already have 3 wide receivers and a quarterback. I'm going to take Quinshon Judkins. And I'm going to take my final wide receiver, that being the aforementioned Emeka Ibuka. I guess I could take one more wide receiver, but now I've got 4. I think that's like I'm doing like the Cincinnati Bengals here, just loading up on a good quarterback and wide receivers and just defense, whatever. Is that even a thing?
Well, well, that's a good strategy, right? Especially if we're doing this fantasy-wise. And again,
right, it's less of a good strategy if it's a real NFL team.
Yes. Yeah. And again,
Confirmed.
when we were talking about Buckeyes projecting forward, there's a lot of defensive guys, a lot of guys who I had written down. And one of the names I wanted to bring up is Cam Hayward because he has been so good. What an incredible NFL year. But again, you wouldn't project forward because he's older, right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't take him necessarily in this draft. But you got to give love to Cam. As far as tight end goes, okay, I'm going to go a tiny bit off the board here.
Okay.
And go with a current player.
You know Max Clare?
I am going Max, yeah.
Max Clare.
Yep. And you've actually been someone who's been talking him up so much in the spring, and how at Purdue he faced so many double teams, and so I got to take tight end off the board and take Max Clare. And then also on the board, I'm going to go back to running back, and I can't believe we haven't taken him yet because he had a good year last year.
2,000-yard rusher at Ohio State.
You know what? You're stealing my thunder here.
I just can read your mind. J.K. Dobbins.
Yes, I'm going J.K. Dobbins.
All right. I need a second. Because running backs we have to start 3 running backs. It's getting a little thin out there. I was going to take J.K. Nice pick. All right, so give me, let's see, I'll go, because I think he's going to be in the league next year. Give me C.J. Donaldson at running back. All right, and give me Cade Stover at tight end. One of C.J. Stroud's targets. You've heard of C.J. Stroud.
Okay, so again, wait, did you I don't have you. Yes, I do have you down for Quinshon Judkins, darn it. I'm going to go with a couple wide receivers here. I'm going to go Carnell Tate.
Ooh,
I'm going to go Brandon Ennis.
Oh, I like that.
Kind of hedge my bets a little bit.
2 and 3.
Take both.
How about those guys being the 2 and 3 receivers for the Buckeyes? Mylan Graham's the number 4 receiver. As we keep saying, like, if you went into the season, you're like, okay, JJ's the number 1, and then, a pretty nice luxury having Mylan Graham as the number 2. How about if he's the number 4? Unbelievable what they've done with that. All right, let's see. We need here. All right, give me Bo Jackson. Ooh. Just because I like that name. He needs to switch his number from 25 to 34, but I really like what I saw from Bo Jackson in the spring. And give me Mylan Graham, the aforementioned.
Okay. And again, what we're doing is we are doing a fantasy draft of Buckeyes, current Buckeyes and Buckeyes that are in the NFL, and this is fantasy purposes, so you're talking tight ends, wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. How about this one? How about Julian Sayin? I'm going to wrap up my draft.
You get 2, I think, right?
No, that's 10. That's pick number 10 for me.
I missed one for you. Okay. Julian Sayin, look at you. So did we take you took Julian Sayin, nobody took Will Howard? Took Julian Sayin over Will Howard. Look at you. So you're a Julian Sayin believer. When did you become a Julian Sayin believer? Like when was the moment you're like, okay, yeah, I'm convinced?
The moment he transferred here. How about that? The moment we found out Ryan Day is going to be his head coach for 2 years, or for the next 2 years leading into an NFL career.
I want to get your thoughts on this, because you know what Ryan Day would think. And you can make the argument, okay, it's different. It's college football, NFL. If you ask Ryan Day who's the better quarterback between Will Howard or Kyle McCord, he's already answered that question, okay? He didn't run Kyle off. He prefers Will Howard. If you ask Ryan Day, he would tell you, I prefer Will Howard. A lot of draft analysts say they prefer Kyle McCord. Now, you could say, again, it's a different game, whatever. But I think even because Ryan coached at the pro level, Ohio State runs a pro-style offense. What do you make of the draft analysts that have Kyle McCord going ahead of Will Howard? And if you had to bet, who do you think is going to go first?
What do I think? That's trash. That's what I think. We have a segment on our Sunday show that we say, that's trash. I think it's trash that Kyle McCord would be ranked ahead of Will Howard, of course. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the quarterbacks, because there's a lot of intrigue, obviously, for people here in Columbus of where Buckeyes are going. And there's a lot of intrigue on who the Browns are going to take, who the Bengals are going to take, who the Steelers are going to take. But the other storyline that everybody across the board loves is, where are these quarterbacks going? And one of the storylines of this draft, of course, is Shedeur, right? And for a long time, it sounded like Shedeur was likely to be a top 10 pick. Now it's looking like there's a lot of people that believe he might fall all the way outside of round 1. It will be very interesting to see what happens with Shedeur, because that, to me, is storyline number 2. But where Buckeyes go is number 1 for me. Shedeur, where he goes, is number 2.
The guy who bet $17,500 here tonight
thinks he's a first round.
Over 2.5 quarterbacks. Sure hopes that Shedeur goes tonight, because I obviously Cam Ward's going to be the number 1 pick. I mean, the odds are off the charts. I think Jackson Dart, again, what a great name for a quarterback. Jackson Dart. He's out there throwing darts. He seems like he's a lock, and for a while, Shedeur was a lock. I think someone's going to take Shedeur. I mean, I know he doesn't have a cannon for an arm, but he was a heck of a good quarterback at Colorado. Look what they did. I mean, I know people like to talk whatever about Deion. He took over a moribund program. They were 1-11. His second year, they go 9-4 and finish in the top 25. It's pretty. Whatever you want to say, that's good. That's good. And what he's made for Colorado, not to make this a Deion infomercial or anything, that was a good investment by Colorado, however you want to look at it. And I do think Shedeur will be a first-round pick. I wish this man who was here tonight wouldn't have bet that much on it to move the line before I bet on it. But, no, I do think 3 quarterbacks will go tonight.
You know what's also an intriguing thing for here in Columbus for Ohio State fans is 3 quarterbacks are going to be drafted this weekend that were in scarlet and gray. Because you got Quinn Ewers also. Like we talk about Kyle McCord. But Quinn Ewers is another guy that's going to be on the board. So it looks like there's probably 5 quarterbacks that we know will go. And then there's a good chance it'll be 3 former Buckeyes in a row where you got Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, and Will Howard in some order of those 3. So you're probably looking at 6, 7, and 8 as far as the quarterbacks all played at one time for the Buckeyes, which is kind of a crazy, funny storyline that you're going to get, but you're going to get that a lot now with the transfer portal.
It's really crazy when you look back at Ohio State's 2021 recruiting class. It finished 2nd in the country in the 24/7 Sports Composite, behind Alabama. If you re-rank, and that was a really good class by Bama, Ohio State would be number 1. It had 6 5-stars in that class. Quinn Ewers was the number 1 ranked player in that class. It also had Donovan Jackson, Travion Henderson, Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, and Emeka Egbuka. Those are the 6 5-stars, and a bunch of other really good players like Jordan Hancock. Marvin Harrison Jr. was in that class. He was the 16th ranked member of the class. 16 out of 24 was Marvin. Michael Hall Jr. was in that class. So that 2001 class with the crux of the national championship team, and a lot of those guys are going to be drafted. Some are getting drafted tonight. Tyleek Williams was in that class. He's another one. Denzel Burke. And that 2021 recruiting class was unbelievable for Ohio State. All right, up next, what are the Browns going to do at 2? Probably Travis Hunter. Might they trade back into the first round to get a quarterback, or are they going to wait till tomorrow to get a quarterback? What are the Browns going to do? What are the Bengals going to do at 17? That's coming up next on The Money.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Bring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin.
Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you.
Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is proud to be the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence Award for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin.
Or online at crowncarsdublin.com.
Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
One smile is great, but one smile in a community of smiles is so much better. A smile has a secret power that most people don't know about. A smile multiplies. It spreads from one person to the next, stretching across entire groups of people. Smile Train knows this and is proud to be creating a wave of smiles across the cleft lip and palate community in over 70 countries. Patients, doctors, advocates, fundraisers. Collectively, our smiles are a celebration of the transformed lives of over 1.5 million children. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
The Fan at 1460 ESPN Columbus is your radio home for Sunday Night Baseball.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222.
The Fan.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Scotty's kids don't ask how his day was. They ask if all his bets won. You're listening to On the Money.
Presented by ESPN Bet, the official sports book of ESPN. What a play.
So one of my favorite things about draft night is all the rumors that come out. And you and I have been hosting for the last hour. Ryan Baker has been over there eating steak and looking at his phone at all the different rumors that have been coming out. I'm trying to catch up, but there's a lot of information out there as far as the Cleveland Browns go. And a couple other things that Buckeye fans might be interested in is there's a lot of talk about Travion Henderson and the Pittsburgh Steelers. How crazy would that be? And then Emeka is kind of getting a little bit of run with the Rams. So let's bring in Ryan Baker from Bishop and Friends, which airs, of course, on The Fan, 9 to noon, Monday through Friday. Ryan, first off, how was the steak? Second of all, What's going on with his number 2 pick in the Browns? What's happening?
So I'm not eating the steak, Scotty. I'm eating the fish.
Oh,
which I love here.
It's right there. I can see the fish.
Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino.
We had the steak.
I'm
steak
already
is great
wrong
too.
with my first bet.
Well, that happens a lot with you. You only post the winners, which that's what we all do. So, but
wow, I post losers.
You do sometimes. So the past couple of hours, it seems like there's been a lot of rumors out there that the Browns have been fielding calls on number 2 and possibly trading back. And then about 10, 15 minutes ago, Jay Glazer had a tweet that said the Jaguars and Browns trade look like it could go down. Ooh. Talks are happening, but nothing done, obviously, until it's done. So there's a lot of smoke. It sounds like the Browns are at least listening. Now, that doesn't mean that they're trading the pick, obviously, but they're listening to calls about I wonder what the price is for them to move down, and if they move down, what they're looking at. Because it sounds like the Jaguars, there's been a lot of smoke with them and Ashton Genty, but it sounds like if they make this deal, they want Travis Hunter. And then that would be interesting with the Bears, because we know the Bears have had a lot of interest in Ashton Genty as well. Would they try to trade up? So
you could trade back and trade back. You would love that, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know if it's the Browns, obviously, but they could.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could be on the table.
That'd be very smart.
Now, Ryan has been talking about this for months and months and months. So the Browns have 4 picks in the first 100 picks, right? But there's a lot of holes on that team. And you've made the case, trade down, get more picks. That's the play more so than Travis Hunter.
And I was just talking about it with someone here, and here's the reason I feel that way. If you're the Browns, and listen, let me say this first and foremost. I don't trust the Browns front office to do anything right, quite frankly. But if you're the Browns and you can trade back and get another first-round pick, and it depends on how far you go back, right? But to me, if you're getting Travis Hunter, and you guys know I'm not a Buckeye homer, but I do love Emeka Egbuka. If you get Travis Hunter and you're going to make Travis Hunter a wide receiver, I don't know if the difference between Travis Hunter, what you get out of him, and what you'd get out of Emeka is that much that I wouldn't take another first-round pick for it. So that's just my thinking on all of this is what's the value you're getting and what's the trade-off between the player. And now, obviously, Travis Hunter's a guy that can help you on both sides of the ball. So that may be something where there's no price. I don't know how the Browns feel about it. Obviously, Andrew Berry had some high remarks about Travis last year, comparing him to Shohei Ohtani. And if you think the guy's Shohei Ohtani, I think you're taking the guy, right? But it's just interesting that there is a lot of rumors out there right now that the Browns are seriously fielding calls about trading back.
Okay, so that's the Browns' perspective. Dave, you are the big Bengals fan up here. What do you want your Cincinnati Bengals to do tonight?
Best defensive tackle on the board, whether that's Walter Nolan or Harmon from Oregon, or best offensive guard on the board, which you could say that's too early for an offensive guard. Ryan and I were talking about that. I've seen some mocks that have Tyler Booker from Bama going to the Bengals. I wouldn't mind that at all at 17. He's a plug-and-play guard. They need that. But if they take a guard in the first round, I want the next 5 picks to be defense. Mm-hmm. Next 5 picks. They have 6 picks in the draft. I want 5 on defense and 1 offensive guard.
Dave, if you're the Bengals, if you draft anything tonight other than offensive line or defense, you're crazy.
Exactly. I've seen some people say, maybe they'll take a tight end. It's like, what? They just spent $27 million on re-signing Gesicki. They took 2 tight ends last year. I know Eric All is hurt. They have Tanner Hudson. They have another guy that they like that was an undrafted free agent last year. They have 5 tight ends. Do not take a tight end in the first round. Even if a really good player like Loveland falls to 17, you can't use that capital on a tight end, just like it's a really good wide receiver draft. You can't, let's say Emeka's there. You can't take Emeka Egbuka if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. You already have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and you're paying them way more than you would if you would have signed them last year at this time.
And again, if you're just joining us, we are live out at Hollywood Casino Columbus. We're going to be watching the draft with a lot of friends here. We got Bengals fans, we got Browns fans, we got Steelers fans. I see Michigan fans, I see West Virginia fans, I see Ohio State fans, I see a Green Bay Packer fan about 10 feet from us. So we got everybody.
They're hosting.
Here.
Look at this beautiful scene at Lambeau.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So many fans there. I did want to really quickly ask you, Ryan, as far as the quarterbacks go for the Browns, what's the ideal scenario for you as a Browns fan?
Oh gosh, I don't like any of these quarterbacks, quite frankly. So I think I wouldn't draft one in the first couple of rounds personally. But I would say this: I'm taking 2. The Browns have 10 picks, and if they move back, there's more. If I'm the Browns, I'm taking 2 quarterbacks every year until I finally find one that's competent.
William Howard?
I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
It'll be interesting. A lot of people think the Browns are going to take a quarterback with that first pick of the second round, but I'm with you, man, because I think they tip their hand. They have wiggle room, but when they got Flacco, it feels like and I think this is a smart move. It feels like they are like, we're going to get our quarterback next year. We're not going to throw this year or anything. We're still going to try and win, but when they signed Flacco, they also have Kenny Pickett. It feels like they're waiting until next year to find their quarterback, and that's smart because this is a weak quarterback draft. Next year could be a strong quarterback draft. What do you think?
Again, I don't trust this front office to do anything right, but 2 every year until you hit.
2 every year. Every year, 2 quarterbacks. Interesting.
Worked for the 49ers, worked for the Washington, then Redskins, now Commanders.
Worked for the Cowboys back in the day. I know I'm showing my age with Troy Aikman and Steve Walsh. Right, Bodie? Bodie's like, that's right. Bodie knows what I'm talking about. He's like, maybe I don't. Yeah, you do, Bodie. You're a Cowboys fan. All right, thank you very much for joining us. For Scotty Vegas, Bodie Wells, and Dan Volpe, and Ryan Baker, I am Dave Biddle. Come out here and join us for our NFL Draft Watch Party at the ESPN Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino in Columbus. This has been On the Money.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done and enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or at goodfeet.com.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.